would call the meeting to order. For those who may not be aware, I'm Gary Wolf, I'm the mayor of Fairview, and thank you for being here. We don't have, at this point, I'll get into the invocation first, if you would. I'd like to turn it over to,
Sure. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for a great day and a good evening. We just ask that you be with us as we go about this town's business, and just bless our efforts, and just ask these prayers in Jesus' name. Amen.
if you would please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, number 4 on our agenda for tonight's meeting is the approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, show up with your hand. Okay. Okay, the approval of the consent agenda is next. Also, I'll be asking for a motion for the approval of the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion?
Hold on.
Oh.
There was one change that I didn't find that you did. 5H, the proclamation for Veterans Day, it had the word Saturday in it, and it should not have, so we're gonna take that out. The date is correct, but the day is not correct.
So that's amended. So we have a motion that we keep the motion for the amendment. We'd like to do that. Carrie to make the initial motion.
I'm sorry.
We need the change was on the proclamation for Veterans Day. She made a correction.
Yeah.
Just approve it as amended.
Motion.
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
As amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, so please put hand. Public comments. Anybody sign public comments? Okay. Presentations. Any presentations? Would that be? That's one minute. Presentation. Okay, items of business. 8A, discuss request for funds from Turning Point. Is someone here from Turning Point?
No, she's not able to come tonight, so, she sent the information that you have in your packet, and they requesting $500. And you have given them the floor, so you can decide what you want to do based on the information she
Okay,
gave.
based on that, before we go into the motion phase, is anything you want to discuss before we go into that phase? So we've done $500 previous years, and if there's any questions or any concerns about us continuing to do that, none being heard, does anyone want to make a motion? We did what we did last.
I move that we do the $500 donation that we have done in the past.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, so with your hand. Okay, item number 8B. This is the discuss amphitheater site improvement budget by John Woods and Manesh. You do an introduction, we can turn it over straight to
I
John.
think y'all know John, so he could just go ahead and start explaining what he explained to us.
And these lights,
Yeah, we
the inevitable one.
Yeah.
I see him down here too often.
That's right.
Ooh,
That's
too dark.
The lights,
There you go.
that's better, yeah.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Good to be back in front of you all to talk about continuing progress here on the amphitheater that we presented a while back. A little fuzzy there, but just a quick history. I think everybody remembers the master plan we did a couple of years ago for the park expansion. And then which the amphitheater that we're talking about is just on the other side of the lake, back down in that slightly lower area against the northern property line. And a little bit bigger there. So the area right now is fairly somewhat clear, but we were still going to have to clear some areas to get down to it. If you haven't been back in that park, there's a few pictures just to orient you so you can see that it is somewhat open, but we still have initially some trees that we need to remove to get down into the proposed parking. So I was here in June It shouldn't seem that long ago. When I left, I put some notes on here, I sent these back out to him, and I think Gary might look at them too. We talked about trying to keep the shape of the amphitheater as it was shown in the master plan. And then the additional directive was to see what we can do about using gravel and grass parking and some type of an ADA connection down to the amphitheater. As well as a pad up at the backside of the amphitheater where they could bring in portable restrooms or set up additional small shelters during an event. And then a pad at the base of the amphitheater that eventually would put some type of structure over top of it. So, of course, you go back to the folks at the office and off the hill, start to design this a little further. So you have in front of you, I think I sent this image earlier today. So this was taking a look at that if you, this would still be kind of grass and some gravel mix at this point, and then more of a paved surface to come down to the amphitheater stage itself, some ADA parking. Comes out this way where you could set up a series of tents or porta potties. And then you'll see in the next one, the slope of the amphitheater down, these areas would be paved as well for dancing or wheelchairs, whatever we need, thinking of the ADA seating down below. As we got into this, and so they went pretty quickly, and you start looking at some of the grading, even though it doesn't look that steep in those pictures, there's still a little bit of grading that needs to be done, and then opening up this tree canopy to get down in there. That starts to affect the overall acreage of disturbance, which then kicked in the fact that we need to put some type of a little pond on the side through construction, and probably have to stay as a stormwater measure. At that point, I think I called Ed and said, "What is your budget?" We're going the wrong way, I think. So I had them look at a Pinto version, which I understand both Gary and Ed drove, so they know what those are, compared to Cadillacs. Reducing it down to, in this scheme, just getting down to basically a gravel access point. There was no real designated parking other than, once again, grass, so you'd have to use it through programming and how you set up an event, probably shuttling folks back out. It still gave us the same core of a stage area, places to sit and set up. We were now under an acre, because we didn't have to do a whole lot of grading, which meant we could do away with this pond, which is where a lot of our money was being spent on that side. So we have two versions that we've come up with. You have them both in front of you. And just look at them side by side, you can see there is a little bit of a difference in how much a potential phase one can be for the amphitheater. Now, the difference on our cost estimates, we're always trying to, in this world, I'm sure a few of you folks know, no prices ever stay the same longer than a week anymore, it seems. So you're projecting, trying to project far enough ahead, even though we knew this would probably get under construction theoretically within the year. So the Cadillac version with the pond and some of the parking and everything was just under, estimated just under 600,000. That included about an 8% contingency in there, and then we estimated at this point a 10% contractor overhead bonds. And this is assuming you have a general contractor coming in and do the whole thing. The small Pinto version was just under about 200,000, all in with reducing everything out of there. I came out and met, was that August? No one came out and met with you and Gary. We kind of went through these, trying to determine with the various budget books in front of us what the budget, available budget was. So we still didn't really come up with that answer, but the directive was to come back before the whole council and present this and talk about it a little bit. And then maybe get Daryl involved to help figure out too what the numbers are.
Okay.
So that we can hopefully move on. So that's why I'm here tonight, trying to figure out what that, we may not figure out that budget tonight, but just to figure out what the budget is for a phase one construction. Is it the smaller version, the larger version that we're heading towards? How far do you want to go in this first phase? And then the next step, We've taken the first option through pretty far. And we stopped. So the second option, we still need to advance a little further if that's the direction we're going to go. But then, if you would then take it out for the bids and then a construction period. In our search, if we went with the larger version, we do have to go through DEQ for the pond and the erosion control. The smaller version, there really shouldn't be a impact permit that we need to do for it because you're under an acre. We're not putting any structures up. We're just creating the space now to move your concert events over there. So, any questions or comments on that short presentation?
The version 2, the Pinto version, anything in there that is, like if we wanted to move, like do some of the first version later, anything that could be added or taken away from that would make that easier, or I mean, if there's anything that-
Take away from the more minimal version to add to
Yeah,
the later.
or add to the minimal version that would make doing the more Cadillac version at a later time
Yeah.
possible.
I mean, with all of our projects, we know there's multiple phases. We try to set phase 1, make it easier for the next phase.
Yeah.
We don't want to tear off stuff to put in this next phase, so I can think of parks we've done, we put in a lot of utilities, and everybody says, why are you putting all this stuff into the ground? Well, so we don't have to tear it up in 5 years, it's there for you. So, yeah, we can certainly amend it, add some additional things from the other plan in. It's flexible.
Or maybe a better way to ask it is from the work that you've done, can you come up with a phase 2 that we could look at and to know, like, eventually that's where we want to get to.
Yeah, I think if we could narrow down a phase 1 budget and then a potential phase 2 budget, we can put that together.
I think the plan we already have, I mean, the master plan, the overall plan, we're trying to zero in on the amphitheater and what that would cost us. The amphitheater's like this, and we can't afford this, so we're going to this. We can always come back later and do this.
In the Pinto version will allow us to put a stage
Yeah, it's the
on
same-
that.
It's the same size pad, which is, I think it's 40 by 40. So you can put a structure on it at any time. And then you just have to run whatever utilities you might need at that time.
Or you can use the pad just as it is,
Yeah.
you know, for things if you want to. We can always put a tent over it or, you know, do like we're doing now, or it gives us a lot of options. But the next stage would be to put the permanent building on.
We have any idea of what range of cost would be to put a roof structure on? I mean, are we talking 50,000 or 200,000 or what are we?
Depends on how elaborate you go, but I would say anywhere from 50 to 250. That's a big range, but it's just what you make it out of and how you structure it. And I don't-
Whether it looks like a big picnic shelter or whether it has a little bit of pizzazz to it.
you make it as fancy as you want to.
And I guess one question I've got would be is, and Darryl, correct me if I'm wrong, is looking at the grants we have, you know, we have one grant we have to spend within a certain deadline, we have another grant that we can, there's no deadline.
Right.
And if I'm not, my memory serves me right, we've got about 310,000, something like that.
Roughly.
Okay, of that, it was a 180 that, I don't know, if I give her
Let's
a
see,
hard
180,
Expires 2026.
yeah.
2026, so that being said, that, you know, we can't, you know, we don't have the money to do the Cadillac. But is there a way to look at where we can, set it up for the phase 2, we get the phase 1 done, or we're going to talk about Pinto, and they'd be looking for the additional 130,000, how we could get on phase 2, is that something is that set up where we could do
What we're
that?
planning to do.
Yeah.
I talked to John about how how you wanted to phase it too, making sure that he had proper instructions. Okay, what do you want me to do next? So he's got this plan, that you want him to go with this plan, and it's gonna cost you about 180, let's assume. So do we do this? Then if you vote yes, we'll do it, he'll start that. And then when he's working on that, he will come to you with the next phase. So when we get through this one, this is what we will do. And when you approve that, he'll start on that, as you have the money.
Well, like I said, with knowing we have around 310, how long do you think it would take if we went ahead and did the 10.0 version, decided to go ahead and do that? How long would it take? You know, I know you can't get specifics, but we talking a year, 6 months, 8 months, how long would it take to do that?
So you put it out, and everything through construction,
Correct.
I would think you could have that done by the summer.
Really?
It won't take long to go back and finish the design on that, and then it's, at the end of the year, so everybody's taking their holiday time.
Yeah.
But, if you're bidding it first quarter, and then it should, weather pending, maybe one.
Well, let me ask this, with that being said, the 180 gets us, when we get to the 180, which leaves us at 130, is it something we may want to consider? Because it seems like one of the things we keep hearing every time we have an event, parking is an issue, people getting stuck in the mud is an issue, that sort of thing. Would it be feasible for us to look at doing the 5th version and then spend the money to get additional gravel brought up and not be starting structure to get that up where we could at least utilize the pad.
Work on the park,
Oh, that's all the way to where?
you want to work on the parking. You
Parking.
want parking with 130, you
Yeah, that's
want
not
to add to
parking.
it to maybe
Okay.
Yeah.
add parking to it. And how would that look? The street or correct me if I'm wrong, John, the street sort of comes in and here's the outfield, and then it sort of cul-de-sacs right there with functions around it. We could go ahead and build that road and gravel it.
So I think that's where we could utilize the pad and then figure what we're gonna do next.
But the 180 did not include that.
Did not say, did I click, is that something
That
you
just
want?
should that sort of access.
Can you go back to the picture of that? Walk us through the gravel road that goes down?
Back to the big one.
Yeah, that one.
I mean, where does that end?
We just sort of ghosted in that this is more or less kind of what the parking looked like in the master plan, so at some point out here, if you had a shuttle stop and then, wide enough gravel access both for a vehicle to get down, to do off-loading stage equipment. But then you could also take your golf carts down, drop those who need some assistance off, but people could walk down there versus walking through the woods.
If I understood correctly, in discussions after I guess the singing in the park was one of the biggest events we've done with people. It was, and the festival was, we kind of ended up doing it backwards because we had the people handicapped parking at the bottom of the hill, and they were trying to get up to the event and so forth, to where we go with that in mind, where we do just the opposite, where people that handicap can get up there and other people that aren't as easy. So with that concept in mind, we take it and be thinking about how we would do the parking to eliminate, making it hard on the handicapped people to get to go. Is that something that we can consider? That
I
makes
think
sense.
it's a combination of, how it's designed and engineered, but at the same time, how you program it for that particular night. And,
A lot of it depends on the program you're having. If you're having too much Sylvia, that's our age.
Right.
So there may be more handicap, but if you're having a kids show, there wouldn't be many. So you have to sort of have enough, but not too much.
But the people who are doing the parking also need to be aware of where to send.
It's a parking,
Yeah, no old people.
no old people come.
No old people show. There's something y'all, I don't know if the group's aware of, and I know you are, but this will be repetitive. Has anybody seen the bowl over in Valentine?
I'm not here to buy it, but
Well, it's unbelievable they've got over there. It's an amphitheater that's, it's got it's just unbelievable, and it's big, because, you know, the man that built that
Gravel.
lives here in
It's
Fairview.
like-
You know that. Going down 218 on the right-hand side, the guy that's got goats on one side, and big, that's Fernando. He built that, you know, and Ed, the structure, and Ed has talked to him, he said he'd like maybe to help us out. We wouldn't have anything of that magnitude, but in looking at the big picture, have back in our mind, that might be, at some point in time, we need to get down and have discussions with him as to what he can do for us at less expense, so just keep that in the back of our mind. And I don't know how, if he would, if we buy the chairs, he buy, we haven't talked to him, but he said he wanted to be able to help out Fairview.
Yeah.
Good.
It's not-
So what is our goal for tonight? We're trying to come up with this budget.
Hey, what's that word, cattle?
Okay, we're counting our cash. Right, so then what do we want Pinto to do? And to Carrie's point, I think that it's real important that whatever structure we put in, especially this road, can come back and be paid, and the additions done without any more grading, any other changes, and that's what you're saying. I mean, it may have to be a little more gravel backed in or something, I don't know.
Yeah, you'd have to make sure that, it depends on when you come back and do it,
Right.
it could have to be replenished.
So where that ends in this field, that's still a field, there's no gravel, no pavement.
Nothing out here now.
That's correct.
Your trail right now starts somewhere about out here, the one that wanders off to the group.
And do we have, I mean, obviously, we have the walkway around the pond. Is there access from the pond over, because we have that paved, that's handicap accessible, and if we just put a shoot through, somebody could at least get through there with a wheelchair or walker or something. So that's something that,
We can look at that, David, but that may be confusing to people. You know, if you line it up right, yeah, you can do that as part of it. Part of it's still gonna be maybe shuttle. Sure. Shuttle the people up there is the easiest thing to do, shuttle back. But as Spencer said, a lot of them don't shuttle really. You can't solve everybody's problem, but you can do that and this, and it'd be, he can determine maybe where a path could go. I think a path should be there anyway.
Yeah.
Off of the,
And I don't know that you need to all make a decision tonight, but you might want to think about it, and I don't need to take it back with me. We can have a week or two to mull over it, or you just have it all written down, and get back with me.
What's the thinking of the council? We're going to the motion, then.
well, I think we need to take Pinto and make certain that we have what we need. And, okay, the what if? And I don't know how far a distance it is from the walk around the lake to where this gravel road is. If I remember correctly, it's not that far. So,
You're coming through this opening here, you're probably 100 to 150 feet.
okay, I don't know what you expect it to be that far. Okay. But I've only walked that area a couple of times, so I don't know.
That being said,
Got some 20-foot parking spaces there.
as far as the money available for us, the 180 we have, which one has got the no limitation, the one has the 20? Oh, don't have a limitation?
No, the second one, the 180 has to be done by June 30th of 26. The other one does not have a limitation.
So we could go ahead, if that would be the case, go ahead and set aside that money for Pinto, if you agree to go that way, and get that started, and then, I'm sorry.
Well, it's just, isn't some of that grant money designated for specific purposes so that you only have 109,000 or something to put
You
towards?
can amend the scope of work.
Okay,
and, it'll be okay.
So with that, I guess what I'm trying to make this, with that being said, if y'all like to go that way, we've got enough money, we have enough grant money to cover the Bentley group. and have the other with no limitations.
And a reserve of the other money to spend as you want to, you can change the plan at any time or add to it, or when we get through with it, and then add some more to it.
Can we use the other money for the structure?
Good.
Yeah, we can amend the scope. Yeah. Talking about the 130?
But we don't have any plans.
But I mean,
We haven't done that yet, but
you could go ahead and get the base of this done in plan one.
yeah, we've got the concrete.
And you got the concrete to go to get your structure done, and then at some point in time, come back and expand
Yeah,
it
we
out.
could take the 130 and do the
Did
amphitheater
we not
first.
run, utilities around there where we can connect to that?
Yes, it's to the edge of the
Is
pond.
it enough
Yes.
utilities, is it enough amperage to connect?
We
all
think
that?
so, yes. Or
What?
Phil thought so. Yes,
Thanks.
I think so. I don't know how much it would take, or
But we
Phil
may
thought it
wanna-
was at the time.
Because I don't think y'all don't have anything about that.
We could add that to the scope, just utilities would probably be very.
We just need to make sure we've got the right utilities there.
Right.
Or at a minimum, we could get sleeves in there. So you're just pulling through the sleeves.
Because the one thing you're gonna have to do is when you go from 1 to 2, you gotta put that drainage.
At
The
some point,
retention
as
pond
the
in there.
acreage goes up,
You've got to put
it's
that in
gonna
there.
show up somewhere.
Yeah, and that's going right across that area where you're talking about crossing, putting across the retention pond. Yeah.
Things go downhill.
As soon as you start, yeah, retention ponds are expensive. But you're gonna have to do it if you want to expand out the hardscape pads.
And you have to do that because of the asphalt, the driveway, and the parking.
The runoff.
It's the disturbed area impervious above an acre is what triggers those. And because you're also in the Goose Creek and the heel splitter and all of that area, you've got a little more restrictions than.
Well, 1 acre, was what area, that 1 acre, is that defined or a certain area? Where that, you have 1 acre, you disturb, for example, if you had your 1 acre down there, you didn't have to have a pond, but farther up the hill, if you wanted to not disturb it, instead of just plant grass, you wouldn't have to have a pond for that, right?
Well, you're still disturbing.
As soon as you grade it.
But you're not, but no grading can take place in that area up there,
Right.
under the Pinto plan.
And we talked about that too, Gary, but some of the areas were just grass.
Grass, yeah.
As
Maybe
soon as you
smooth
start
out some.
going back and grading and trying to put hardscape or paved areas in there, you have now triggered the,
But I guess my question is, where does that, is that 1 acre limited to what limits where that 1 acre is?
Where you
In
gonna do your
this
stuff?
case, it's this sort of component.
The whole thing?
It's not the entire park, but it's that.
No,
It's
it's the
the one-
entire area we're talking about, it's all limited to that 1 acre.
It's the Pinto area.
All the Pinto area.
That 1 area right there.
Okay.
when you go to this area, then it kicks over to retention,
Okay.
which is a cost.
Yeah, we spent a lot of money doing that. We spent a lot of time arguing about why.
I mean, it jumps $124,000 on drainage.
Right. Well, with that being said, what is the, how would the council like to proceed? Do we want to go ahead and then, we know we have a limitation on this spending money. With that being said, we want to go ahead and, y'all decide if we want to go ahead and do the Pinto plan and
Well,
get started.
quick question, did the Cadillac plan have the electrical, conduit in there?
I don't think so, for that. I think our utilities were pretty much limited to storm drainage.
Okay,
We didn't bring anything else out to we were still assuming portable bathrooms at that point. Because you had, in the master plan, there's a future restroom proposed for this area. Not as service the amphitheater, but some of the other things that were developed around it at the time. No sense in building that until you're really ready for it.
I mean, the electrical.
Yeah, I don't think we have the electrical figured in, not knowing what we needed at that point. I'm talking about the electrical for the stage.
For the stage.
or for the-
For the stage.
But you think the power there now will cover the stage?
Y'all know where the power is?
Do we think that or we know it?
That's a huge.
I think we investigated that, or Phil did, when he had it done. And he put a box, and you can go down the path, you'll see that box right here.
Okay,
It's got 220 to it, that's what's powering the fountain.
Supply this.
okay.
But didn't we break something with the fountain?
That had nothing,
That had nothing to do with that.
that was where they connected the wire that they provided with the wire that came in the pump. Somebody, it burned up.
So it didn't have anything to do with the amount of electric power.
Those
we have there.
those did not.
That's a drain of power that comes from that pole, but not much.
Okay.
So
That's
two,
why I'm concerned.
I know nothing about music and what it takes to run it. So 220 will run a band, a group, and all of their instruments. Does anybody know the answer to that?
Yes, but I don't know if it's at the same time as the pond though. I don't know if they can correlate together. But 220 is enough for the band. That's what they have to have in order to perform.
I thought I remember when we ran that line, Phil had two lines run. One line for the outlets for the lights, and then one line for that thing just for the stage.
Correct.
So,
Well, that's good.
so we need to, we need
How do
to
we
figure
find
that
how
out.
to know that?
We need to figure that one out.
It's probably on a set of plans somewhere. Shows.
All Phil too.
Yeah, I'll get with Phil. Because you're also gonna have to probably you're gonna have to put it underground all the way to the stage. I don't know how far is that outlet from the stage.
From right here to the stage. Like I say, it's 100 feet.
That's
As long as it's not long.
Excellent.
But it can be done with that. And that's what we're trying to, just put it there, because we didn't know exactly where this was going to be.
I just remember, if we were digging a trench, we were gonna put two lines in that trench. One for the lights and the outlets around the park, and one for the stage.
Well,
Wasn't involved in that.
well, the lights are separate from the outlets, so we put the lights, they're on their own, and then we ran power for the outlets and for that box down
We
the
just need to
stage.
find
I
out.
didn't find that. That's,
John, my concern is the transformer here.
can't, yeah, we have to get, I think we gotta get with Duke on that.
And, yeah, well, we wanted a 50, I told him, I would like to see a 50, they said, oh, we can't afford a 50, we got to have 45. Well, and you didn't need it right then, so, but you'll have to have that.
Can that be part of the money?
We can change the scope,
We need to.
from what I understand.
We gotta sit
Off
that
the field, and let's solve that problem.
Yeah.
So you want to talk to Phil first, or we want to? We've got, like I said, you've got the money, and not trying to leave, you've got the 180 to cover the Pinto version, we've got 130 to cover the
Reserve.
next step, or if you find we have to have electrical power, that money would be there to do the power, if you want to go that next step. And that may be a step by itself, I don't know.
That's your reserve.
That's reserved.
So question with regards to sidewalks, 51.6 in here for that. Where are those? This is so small, I'm struggling.
That's these half moons out here,
Okay,
in front of the stage area.
so that's how people can get out to the, but then there'll be grassy areas between those walkways.
Grass here, and you got the slope coming up. And on the electrical side, and I've got a sub I used before, I can site electrical, does a lot of our park work. I could have them come, assess it and see what needs to be done, if anything.
But also too, I don't know, I mean, I'm just kind of speculating, you know, you've got the landscape guys right there next to where the pad will be. He's got power coming in there, we may be able to come in and have poles out there, not have a transformer, bring power in from that. I'm just speculating, that might be an option too. Have a pole put up and power brought in on that side of the park.
Good.
Be a whole lot cheaper than transformer.
And we thought about that too.
Huh?
We have thought about that in the future.
Because he's there, he's got stuff right there, so that may be,
I don't know how much he's got, but it may have to still be.
but they can, I guess if they've got the poles there, they can bring in whatever they want on the poles.
If we pay for it.
Huh?
If we pay for it, yes.
Right. I don't know.
I'd figure out first what we got right now. doesn't work.
I think what we got right now works for this Pinto stage.
Well, we think,
But let me verify that with Phil, make sure I understand what they did, because I wasn't involved in it. And then if we need further investigation, we can hire a contractor to come in there and tell us.
Yeah.
We first got to know what they would really, what's the highest draw on that power would be. And it would be that stage, would it not be? I mean, or lights along the walkway or something. So we got, and I think Phil did that. I think he figured that. And I think that outlet is enough to do that.
I think
You're
you got
giving
a
me more
plan
time.
for, on the power side, you got a plan, if you build a structure there and you want lights in the structure, you got to plan all that out. How much power you have to put lights in the structure.
Here again, that's a good point. We don't have a plan yet, so we didn't know, but lights should not be a problem. But let me verify that with Phil.
With that being said, we want to table this discussion after you contacted Phil.
That's up to y'all. You can, subject to Phil if you want to.
I would like to get, if we get a PDF of this emailed to us so that we can look at it.
Yeah, sure, I got it. Mhm.
I can't read it.
Tiny.
you gotta buy us magnifying
And I'm-
glasses.
I had to buy me one.
So that being said, did I hear a motion to table the discussion till December? And while you'll find out the information you need to know as far as power and so forth?
I think we've got time because we can't really start anything till the first quarter anyway, for bid process.
Yeah, and if we come back in December, though, it'd be nice to have this thing ready to go in summer of next year.
Yeah.
So if we came back in December, there's a chance maybe we can get this done by June, July next year,
I don't think so. I mean,
possibly.
we've got some people, from what the mayor has said, might be interested in bidding on this project. I would hate to piecemeal it and have a bunch of different contractors. I'm fine managing a single prime contract. I hate those multi-prime contracts, because nobody wants to coordinate anything. So,
Can he do the whole thing?
Who?
Yeah, right, for real. Can he do the grading and everything?
I don't know.
No, well,
We can,
yeah,
But there is
They
people
could,
there
but-
that can.
Okay.
So do I hear a motion to table the discussion on the
you okay with that?
amphitheater site till December meeting? Do I hear a motion?
A motion to postpone the decision on the final budget until the December meeting.
Second.
I said,
What are the steps though? I mean,
Well,
who's gonna be responsible for what?
Well, he's gonna check with Phil to find out about the power, or find out what power limitations are, but it sounds like to me, that's the biggest hold right now is availability of power. If we can find out, and we can table it again in December, it's just totally whatever.
No, I just don't, I mean, I'm on the table, that's fine. I just wanna make sure we got the steps of, the next step is for somebody to check on his power. And
You
then,
put,
then hopefully in December we make a decision.
I will do that. I'll check on the power and then, report back to you on that. Now, do you want John back next in December? You
I
know,
don't think, yes,
I
I mean, it's
think
laid
it
out
does,
a great
yeah.
plan, yeah.
we can have his PowerPoint presentation. I can email it to you also.
and what's the timeframe to move from this decision to a bid package or?
probably need a month or so to kind of finish up the bid package. And then usually it's a 30-day bid period. So assuming we get enough contractors interested, I assume you have to do a three contractor bid.
Depending on the size, pretty large, so
If you're under, say, 200,
I think it's 300, isn't it?
I think it's
300, I
300.
think it's like, we'll check. Everybody's different, so we should check on those things. And then,
So here's my question from a process technical. When we get this PDF and David Link has these 3 questions that I'd like to have answered, and it's something that maybe we could shoot to John or whatever, how do we do that without it becoming an issue from a public standpoint?
Shoot that to me.
Okay?
then I can shoot it to anybody.
Okay,
But, then I can shoot it back to all of you at one time. You just can't do it.
okay,
Your question, I'll put in, I'll get the answer and I'll tell everybody.
okay. And I'm not saying I got any, I'm just,
You might,
when I look at it, I know, I just want to make sure I do it right.
if you can see it.
So with that being said, we have a motion to table
You all right with that?
and
We got a
Um,
motion.
but I think we need to include the motion, the questions that were asked about what the step, the power.
Yeah.
And all those things be part of the motion as well. Can you do that?
What, the power, the only one that you had a question about?
Is there anything besides the power?
Okay. So,
I make a motion that we move the decision process to our December the 11th meeting with regards to the budget, and that being based on what Ed will find out from the former mayor with regards to what the power situation is, and if that needs to be pushed to a contractor to make that final determination, that we attempt to try to get that done prior to the December meeting.
And I'll keep you up to date on when I find out.
do we have a second? Any further discussion? All in favor, show of hands. So, that completes, and thank you, John.
Thanks so much. Just pulled it out.
Pull it out, I think. I still got it. You can pull it out.
That completes 8B. The 8C is discuss the question response to Kima High School Booster Club in amount of $1,500. So who is speaking, or all three of you speaking for?
Apparently, I'm doing the same. This is Tiffany Thayer. She's our vice president of the boosters. My name's Christy Isaacs. I am a senior parent, so I'm kind of on my way out the door, but I'm helping with some donations and fundraising type things. We're here to ask for the money because Mr. Lukac has kind of taken his band to another level. And with going to the next level, for instance, we've always competed in North Carolina. We went to 2 South Carolina competitions, and we called the bands in South Carolina big boy bands because they are truly amazing. We placed 5th overall at one in Fort Mill and 6th overall in Rock Hill. And so now we're looking, well, I say we, I won't be there, but the band is looking to go to Band of Americas, kind of expand the musical talents of these kids. They do an amazing job. They put everything they have into it. But one of the biggest things is the funding, the money it takes to get to these competitions, the props, the costumes. And Mr. Lukac does a great job of really using his resources. We reach out to the community. They help us build props. We try to recycle anything we can from the year before. But still, we still need funding. The students do pay a band fee of $500 a year. That did have to increase last year, unfortunately, but with rising costs, inflation. But one thing we will tell you is no student is turned away for not being able to make their band fees. With that being said, that is also another kind of hurdle we have starting this year. We had about $6,000 that were not paid in band fees, which that's really not that many students, but that is a large chunk for band fees. You know, kind of, we look for our donations and our volunteers, and we do fundraising, but, you know, so we are asking for $1,500 to help kind of keep the band moving in the right direction. Bands of America is usually in Atlanta, Georgia, so there are some steeper costs that are involved in that. This past year, we were thankful enough because you guys did donate $1,500. That helped us replace our drum line, which had not been replaced in 17, 18 years. So it was time. So that helped with that and some other costs. And this year, we're trying to replace our baritone line. We were able to replace 6 of those this past year, but we still need to replace 8. The current 8 we have are kind of pieced together from the ones that we replaced. We took all the good parts and kind of tried to fix what we had. So that's what we're here for.
Do you want to say anything?
I just wanted to add that the band this year, they did perform really well. So talented little individuals they are, but a lot of passion from those kids. So this really goes a long way with their future, and their commitment to the band in the school.
And we have a lot of kids who are pursuing that for college, out of the senior class this year. I actually have a daughter who is looking to do color guard in college. She never thought she would do that, but she loved it so much. And we've got several kids that auditioned this past weekend at Appalachian State University to be part of the music department.
That's a good place.
There's better. There's better. I will say this, my daughter, she was in the band at Piedmont when Luke at first came. And actually did Bands of America in Atlanta. But they hadn't done it since then. And it was, the parents ended up, we funded the trip, but it was an incredible experience. And she went on to play in the band at East Carolina. So she was in the band there. So it's an incredible experience for these kids, but it's very expensive. And went and saw, my wife and I saw the performance this year at school, and I thought it was incredible. So he continues to amaze me what he can do with what he's got.
I will say with my daughter being a senior, this past year's show was a lot harder than any of the kids had seen. And I was there almost every day of band camp. You'll find me there, band camp. I was there at competitions, football games. And to watch the kids, you every now and then heard a complaint. You know, it's hot, I'm tired. Mr. Lukac has a lot of passion, and you know, there's a lot of emotions that come with passion sometimes. But for the most part, these kids just put everything they had into it. And I will say this season, we went to Union Pines High School and competed for our next class competition in North Davidson, and they were grand champions at both. So they swept their class and they were grand champions at both. So it was definitely an amazing year.
Where is Piedmont size-wise? All of my daughters, 4 daughters went to Piedmont. There's been a lot. What are they, small 3A, large 3A? Where are we standing now?
Well, so the
Does that
band's
impact
done,
band?
the band's done a little different because it's done by number of kids in the band,
Okay.
not number of kids in the high school.
Okay.
But we range from 5A to 6A, depending on if we were in North Carolina or South Carolina.
Okay. All right. So things have
But
changed.
I believe the football team's 3A. Okay, I was gonna say, I think Piedmont's technically 3A.
Okay.
They are underfunded when it comes to going to Bands of America. I mean, you get these massive schools there with all these funds, so it'd be nice for the kids to have an opportunity to go to Bands of America. It was they play in the NFL stadium there, and it was quite a feat.
It was amazing in South Carolina to see them.
Yeah.
There was a,
That's big schools in South Carolina. Irma and some of those other schools.
we did a pirate Peter Pan show this year, and we were behind a band that did a battleship, and we were kind of asking some of the parents what their props cost. Their props alone cost them almost $60,000, where our prop budget is $10,000. So there was a huge difference. But now one thing I'm very proud of is you saw a lot of parents out there building all the props. Mr. Lukac has a, you know, his belief is if the kids are going to do this, it's their show, their responsibility. He teaches them how to use those tools and put those props together. No parents touch the props. Now, we may make sure that things are where they're supposed to be and make sure everything will fall through, but for the most part, the kids really take responsibility. But yes, that is his goal next year, is to take this group to my sister was there his first year, and his student teacher years.
How long has he been there? He was there all along.
6 years. Yes, 26 years.
God,
Yeah, he was a
that
kid.
makes me feel old.
I was like, is he a student or what? What is the total budget for the band?
So I can tell you, I brought some figures.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be exact.
Now, well, so last year, our income, now keep in mind, the kids got to march at Magic Kingdom and Disney at spring break last year. So about 108 of the income we made was the Disney trip. But our income was about 241,000. Our expenses were, last year were 257,000. But we had saved some money for some trailer. We bought a new prop trailer. There were things that we had kind of put money back for. And so, like I said, we bought the new drum line. We bought some new baritones. We bought a new prop trailer because as the props get bigger, you got to be able to tow those. We bought a new generator. Last year was kind of one of those years where everything started It takes everything.
So with that being said, does anyone else have any other questions or anything they need to ask? Well, they are here requesting from the for the booster, Pima High Band Boosters Club, the amount of $1,500 from the town of Fairview. Do I hear a motion to honor their request?
I'll make a motion that we give $1,500 to Piedmont Band Boosters.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please put your hand. Thank you very much, glad to be here to support you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's 8C, 8B, we'll turn this over.
What do you play?
Her daughter's the band student.
Oh, you just got drug along.
Moral support.
Bodyguard.
Next item on business is 8B, is Ed or John, are you gonna handle that?
Well,
If y'all don't want to stay.
Yeah, y'all wanna stay.
Okay,
Y'all can-
well, he's right, but, okay.
Well, you might as well say what
Okay.
So, we got the audit, excuse me. And, as I read through the audit, I went back to answer the question, and I think we get this question every audit. But when I read through it, you know, my radar went up and they kept talking about, we need better internal controls. But it's based on the small group that we have, is that it's hard to get internal controls. So I went back to Ed with a question of, hey, is there anything that we need to do, from that standpoint? I think we're in pretty good shape overall. And the audit didn't point out any issues that we had, other than the same issue of internal controls over our finances.
We have split up the internal controls, and I'll go very quickly, pretty evenly. Daryl is off site, so he reviews it from a distance. Teresa and I work together, but she only does some things and I only do things. Daryl's the only one that writes checks.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that makes deposits. Teresa,
We get, John reviews.
I do the
John
bank
review.
statements.
with all the reports you have, we do enough reporting to you that it would be hard for us to put ourselves in a position to where we were defrauding the town in any way. Could happen.
Yeah.
But we want to prevent that. So I don't write checks. I make deposits, but I don't write checks. So you try to separate those. Now, we do get you involved in two signatures required. Patricia and Gary have to sign each check. That's another check and balance. And Daryl, you may want to say a couple more, but
That, we don't both sign these checks, either one of us could sign checks.
Yeah, either one of them.
Somebody on
Daryl
council
signs all of
signs
them.
check.
but
that's what I meant to say.
Okay.
And then Teresa also, she reviews invoices and approves them and then gives them the need back. So you got two reviews there.
What we came up with, Teresa and I were talking about, there's two things we'd like to do. And I think Neil will be happy about this. Nobody really approves the invoices. In other words, if I send Daryl an invoice, he assumes I approve it. We have bought a stamp,
I've noticed that.
and we're gonna start stamping all we can to where she'll see all. In other words, if I buy something, he ought to know what I bought before he writes a check for it.
Well, I usually ask the
Or
question.
approve it, yeah. He usually does verbally, but if you go back a year, we may forget what we said. But that, and two, we don't want to take any more cash.
Yeah.
So we are set up to take checks and credit cards. We don't take any more cash. I don't think I've told you this.
No.
That eliminates one of the problems you might have. We don't have any petty cash. We just don't take it. Now, that won't cause us a problem in our day-to-day work because of the paying online and the credit card and checks.
What would somebody pay cash for? What would that?
Oh,
Zoning fee.
a zoning fee or anything.
Whatever.
What about the fishing permits?
I would not.
I'm gonna do that.
I will not.
Or the shelter rental,
What does that mean?
the shelter rental.
Shelter rentals can pay cash, planning, zoning fees. I have had,
What's taking place in my comments.
I have had a person pay me $500 cash. Now, here again, they pay me, I give them a receipt. We got a receipt book. I put the number of that permit on the receipt, so you could go back and say, well, Ed, where did you get this money, you know? So we have a lot of checks and balances to where you can ask almost any question and I can tell you. At the end of the month, I tell you that I did this permit, I collected this much money in cash and the total. We don't reconcile that total to Daryl's deposits necessarily, but he knows what we take in. I think the only place I've been in banking a long time, and I've been in the town government, I have seen people take money in various different ways. Could Teresa and I come up with a scheme to do something like that? Probably. But if we eliminate the cash, everybody's got a trail that they could go through and anything else. I'm not saying we couldn't do something then, but there's very little money in this town. As
Most
far
of
as
it's
fees.
collected by the county.
Yeah,
Right.
so we don't collect taxes. So we're pretty clean, but we don't separate everything. For example, could I manipulate a deposit? Yeah, probably figure out some way to do it. Not saying I would, but
And they only
things like
consider
that.
this, they could just consider this a material weakness, not a significant
That's correct.
deficiency. So, I mean, it's just we just don't have enough people to check some out.
Right, exactly.
But I do think we've got a good thing in place as of now. The council just need to be aware that that's came out of the audit. And it comes out every year when we do the audit.
They've already filed the audit with the commission too.
Yes, I don't think we've got an issue, it's just an awareness.
I would say the next size, the limit, we would have a purchase officer or somebody that would buy the stuff independently than we all buy it or something like that. So you keep on improving yourself on your position.
That's where I was.
Okay, so nothing needs to take place other than what you've already done.
Well, it made us think about some things that we need to do and to do better.
And let's protect yourself.
Yeah.
I think that, the AI stuff that's going on with people calling in, recording your voice, getting your voice, using that to call, I need a check for so-and-so, mail it to so-and-so. That's kind of the next generation of the stuff that you need to be worried about. So we just need to be aware
Yeah, we don't do that.
of that kind of stuff.
Have
But-
the documentation of it.
Yeah,
But be aware of it.
yeah, but be aware of
Somebody could figure out a way to
Of
do
what-
it.
yeah.
But, we're pretty, he's pretty on top of it and we are too, so.
And I think what's really beginning from this, what John has said is, if somebody comes to us from town and wants to know what we can do, we know it's being taken care of, and that will satisfy anybody asking how we are controlling it, and that's the answer. Somebody asking. The changes we made, just to ensure.
And we appreciate, like John reviewing the finance, the audit, Carrie would review the checking account and all that. So just the checks and balances, check it periodically, never take anything for granted. I learned in the banking industry, the odds of one person doing it are pretty good. You put two people in control, then your odds of something that goes down about 50%. So, 3, even better. 4, even better. So,
And that's all we have under items of business, so we're down to item number 9, council comments. We'll start with here.
The statute came,
Okay.
all right, it's broken. So it showed up at the house, we got back Sunday night, and it was at the, shift last week. And they did it looks, I got some pictures, I'll show you pictures, beautiful. They did a really good job. But the fishing pole that comes out of the statue, it broke part of the way down. So I talked to the company about it. And it's a bronze statue, so we're connecting with a local TIG welder to repair it, and they've sent the patina to go over it. So I got a TIG welder that maybe come and try to repair the fishing pole, and then we'll get the patina on it. And then I've talked to a guy at church, Randy Warwick. He's going to help me get the pad ready. And so I'm thinking once we get all those pieces done, we'll probably have it done in the next 30 days in place. And that corner that we talked about,
It's
oh,
up
yeah,
there, yeah.
yeah, I can show you right here. We're going to put it right here on the pond. So it's going to face this way. And so we'll put it kind of right in that corner right there. So 4 pad, about a 4 by 4 foot pad, 4 inches deep. And so the rods will go in the pad to hold it steady. And then there's a plaque, and the plaque turnout. The family helped write the plaque. It's really nice. And so the plaque's ready. The statue's almost ready. So it's sitting on my driveway. I'm waiting for the particular to come repair it. We'll get that out there hopefully in the next, hopefully sometime in the next 30 days. And then we just need, the one thing we need to do is figure out, okay, how are we going to dedicate it? Yeah, I don't know if we need to have an event. We do need to do something for the family, but it would be nice if all the council came and we did some kind of a dedication for that. So,
And of course, with that being said, I've heard several discussions with the statue coming, and also reference has been made about officially opening up the trail. Is that going to be all part of it, or is that going to be separate? You want to do it all at the same time, or separate? People are walking on the trail now. I don't know, if we want to, are we going to dedicate both to Jerry, or you want to?
I just did the statue.
So what's the thought of it?
That was the plan. That's what I understood.
To do it started out being the wall.
Yeah.
Right. Then it changed to the statue.
So it's whatever.
Yeah, whatever, however you all want to do it. I mean, we'll get this.
Just leave it the statue.
Well, probably, I guess, without having a ceremony, there probably ought to be, and is maybe have a plaque made that's just mounted there at the beginning of the trail, honoring Jerry, that'll just be, it be maybe, I don't know how you want to handle it. People are already walking on it, and enjoying it, so I don't know if we need to go any further than, or, what's the feedback on that?
I don't know, I mean, I think the statue's really, I mean, the statue and the plaque are going to be really a nice tribute. And, we're just, bottom line is all I'm trying to focus on is getting the statue in place and getting the plaque in place, to that little area.
Right.
Eventually, I would say, I wouldn't do it this time of year, but maybe do a little landscaping around it, trying so you can go down to the statue. But we did notice that, with the rain that we had, when we did the last, Spencer, the last thing at the park, the event, the fall festival, where I think it had some rain and water had kind of come up into that area. We're trying to figure out how far back we need to get from that little point. And then we'll just kind of do a little landscaping, maybe a little walking path, walking pavers going down to it.
Do you want to include that in the Winter Festival? Have a dedication during the Winter Festival?
It'll be dark.
What?
But
No,
we could.
it's at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
We get in
When is that?
the 14th. That's why I say it's only a month away.
No pressure.
No, I think, yeah, the takewater, I talked to him, do you know this guy? Sorry I'm taking so long. I'm trying to get this done. Brian Wilson?
You know that, Bob?
Yeah, Brian Bobby.
Oh, yeah. So he does takewater.
Yeah.
And so I've connected with him, and either I gotta get the statue over to him, or we're trying to figure that out.
He does a lot of stuff for us.
I'm hoping he's mobile, because I
Yeah,
don't want to have to
yeah,
load the statue.
He has a well fit front.
All right, so I think he's gonna be able to come do it, fix it, and then Randy and I will get it out there, get it set. We can definitely have it done before that.
Do you want to plan on that?
So we could do a dedication, that afternoon.
I just know his family will be there.
That would be great.
So
That'd
if
be
we
an
want to
event where
include that,
everybody's gonna be there, we could set it a time to do it, that'd be awesome.
instead of doing a separate event, just do it all one night.
That'd be awesome.
Okay.
That'd be great.
And part of the trail, this is food for thought. If you got the vision stuff, what would be good to have at the trail's honor, Jerry, could think about the next person up for Eagle Scout, let that be, maybe we can guide them, let that be their project, is to do something at the beginning of the trail.
I had talked to one of the leaders about that.
So that'll be a win-win. They get the project, we get the thing done, and then. So if you want to continue with that discussion, and work through John, because he has a really good vision on. But
I got a vision.
I've got a question. I don't know if I can talk right now or not, but y'all ever reach out to the community to see if anybody else, kind of wants to help out? Like, if you need help with that statue, I can be more than happy to help you.
That'd be great.
yeah,
So, I mean,
I'll get with you after this and we set up time. We're gonna get a few guys out there to help out and get it forward, get it set. Yeah, see me after it's over.
all right, that sounds good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Do you know about the statue and what he's doing?
I
I
know,
know, but I remember Jerry.
do you know how to weld?
Do I know how to, my brother-in-law is really good with it.
All right.
So
He's gonna have to have special.
I might volunteer him.
I was about to say, you just volunteered him. He may not like you over that.
So that's where.
But John and his family purchased this statue and this plaque in honor of Jerry.
That's awesome.
So that his family's paid for this.
Well, I know the park meant a lot to Jerry. So,
And fishing did too.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's,
So it's a bronze statue of a guy fishing.
That's
Little
awesome.
kid.
That's awesome.
all right, good, I'll get with you.
Yes, sir.
Good.
So, am I understanding that
Take charge of that.
the statue installation and the trail is gonna be two separate issues?
I think personally, the people already on the trail, we've already waited to let the trail be open, and then,
I don't think we're gonna have to have a
I didn't know.
grand opening for the trail, no.
now we've been.
And I don't know if we have, this one area for Jerry, that could be his area to represent him
Right,
and honor him. The trail could be something completely different.
Yeah.
It could just be, we need an entrance to the trail. We
Yeah.
talked about having an awning or something to
Right.
enter into the trail.
Yeah,
But that doesn't have to be for Jerry. That just
No.
needs to be something for the trail.
That could be a scout project.
Well, yeah, that's what
We
we're-
gotta help
I was
fund
thinking.
to pay for materials or something.
yeah, that's what I was gonna talk to, well, I've already talked to the scoutmaster, but, you know, I was telling that if we provide the
He's the one that went there.
That'd be all part of
material,
the
that'd
people
be something
project,
that put
too.
together and
Yeah. It could
It's
be
all-
something.
Oh,
that's.
that's great.
We can come up with a plan of what.
Right.
Lawns walking trail or something.
Whatever.
Yeah, because I went online and got
I
several
was just
different
gonna,
graphics of
report
different
that
ones people use.
Halloween lights have already come down, and Liz Medlin and her daughter Jordan were the winners, and we're working on the holiday lights now, Christmas lights.
Will that be announced at the Winter Festival winter?
It has in years past, I think. Had they-
Sometimes it just depends on how it falls, but it'll go on the website and everything. I
Yeah, the Halloween
think
stuff
before
already
that,
done, but,
I can't remember what night
I
the
can't remember what
judge.
I think you said 6th and 11th.
But 6th is the deadline for registering.
yes.
Then it was the 8th and 11th, wasn't it? Was the,
And the 11th is what, or 11th is when you go out.
So here's the
So it'll be, you'll have it already.
April 11th, right there. And then the Winter Festival is.
On the 14th.
So that you can do it.
Yes, it can
That
start
would be a
being
good,
announced.
a venue to do it in, and everything.
Right.
Anything else?
So,
We'll go through, Tracy, you have anything else? Carol?
No, the audit's been submitted to the state commission, so we're good there.
Spencer?
the Winter Festival is the 14th of December from 4 to 7, and we'll incorporate Jerry's dedication. If you have a church or business or anything that wants to be involved, we would love for you to do that.
Now, I'll talk real fast. The only thing I've got is to answer Carrie's question. You know, we started the process of having permit fishing. Last thing that was done before we started the program was have contacted the wildlife people and got their opinion. You know, everybody was concerned that the pond be fished out. They said that's not gonna happen. So that would not happen. So what they're gonna do, starting in the spring, they're gonna do, bring out a boat and they're gonna fish the pond and get a survey of what they find when they fish. And then they will restock it for us at no charge. And they will have wildlife people who are monitoring the people that are fishing and looking for those over 16. They make sure they have a North Carolina fishing license. So that's why we dropped it, because it's not gonna cost us anything. And that will be on an annual basis starting in the spring. Is that right, Ed? That's where we are. That's why we dropped it. It didn't cost us anything. And
They're gonna manage the pond.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, they'll,
Periodically.
Show up, yeah. Well, they're going.
They're gonna audit the pond to see what's in the pond.
They are the first time, and we had to get in line for that, so next spring will be our first time. They will sort of audit the pond, you're correct. Tell us what we have, check the depths, what kind of fish, and recommend what we could do. And then get in line, they restock a lot of ponds, so we can get in line for that big that they know what we need now, that we can get in line for restocking.
Or they give us recommendations.
Yeah.
we'll pay for it, yeah.
One alligator per acre.
Okay, you get it, you put it.
And water moccasins are free.
So I don't have any other comments, but just thanks in advance for the Winter Festival. I know it'll be a good event. So, that being said, I have a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
We'll make a motion, we do that.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you very much.
I'm
And,
calculating mine.
happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and we'll see you after Thanksgiving for the next meeting. And
Hey, I need to. Like a little John Boy.